ocean apart and divided, I'm feeling like Mozes. She's switching emotions and making them faces just like an emoji.
If you know me by now, I'm a huge supporter of cash flow. Without cash flow, I don't invest in long-term holds. I get people that call me all the time for help on buying properties, and I don't mind helping anyone else. So today, this guy called me.
Hey Musa, I've got this Woodstock deal I want to buy, and it's going to do between $100 and $200 per month in cash flow. Is that a good deal? What do you think?
All right, so here's what I said. Basically, $100 or $200 is minimum what I aim for in cash flow per unit that I buy. So for a duplex, I want $200 minimum. If it's a fourplex, I want $400 minimum. And that's cash flow, like leftover in my pocket after all of the bills have been paid for. I want at least a minimum of $100 per unit on a multifamily. And for a single family house, I usually aim for at least $200 minimum. Again, this is after all of the bills have been paid for. So that's a minimum threshold, and I need a value add to increase the value, or I need the tenants to turn over so I can get more cash flow. The idea of cash flow per door or per unit is a great metric, but it's only one metric that you can really go by. And so there's another good metric that I care about a lot, and that is cash on cash return. Cash on cash return says what percentage of my investment did I make back this year in cash flow. So to do some basic math, if you invested $1,000 into an investment and you made back $100 in the whole year, that is a 10% return. So cash on cash return is how much money you made in profit in cash flow during the year, divided by how much money you put into the deal. So going back to my friend who asked me, is $100 or $200 a good deal for a house? Honestly, you gotta ask yourself, how much money are you putting into it? His answer was 80 grand, okay? Basic math, right? So if we were making, let's go with the higher number, $200 per month, every single month, you're making $200 a month in cash flow every single month. That's $2,400 a year. $2,400 divided by 80 grand is 3% cash on cash return. Is that a good deal? For me, no. My minimum that I generally aim for is like 10%. I wanna see like 10% minimum. Now, why did I pick that number? Well, on average, the stock market has averaged between 6 and 7% over like the past 100 years. So I was like, well, I wanna get at least a little bit better than that. So 10% became a really good rule of thumb for me. Now, I just can't rely on 10% because you gotta also look at the total amount of cash flow you're getting. I mean, here's why. If you invested $1 into a real estate deal, $1, and you made $2 a year, $2 a year in profit, is that worth all the headache of putting into a real estate deal? Probably not, because you're only getting $2 a year, but that's a 200% cash on cash return. Shouldn't you do it? No, because it's only $2. I don't give a shit about $2. So I look at both those numbers. I look at cash on cash return of a minimum 10%. I might even go slightly lower than that if I believe in the market and it's doing really good appreciation-wise. Like if a property values are gonna climb, right? I actually just bought a property I'm closing on at the end of this month in London, and I'm only gonna get like just under 8%, 9% I think, return on that. Why would I violate my rules? Well, because it's London, right? I believe that prices are going to go up. So that's why I did it. Plus I got a great deal on it. So understand this now. I want both of those things. I want a minimum of $200 per month per unit personally, and I want minimum 10% cash on cash return. That's my general line of thought. Then there's one more metric that I look at, and that's overall return. The idea is if you hold this property for, let's say, 5 or 10 years and property values go up a little bit, the loan gets paid down a little bit, over that time frame, what's my average return each year? And for that, I typically shoot for around 15%. So when I go into an investment, typically, I wanna see about 15%. In fact, I'm doing like a bigger deal right now with a partner, and so that was always the metric that we were aiming to beat. I wanted to be able to give my partner at least 15%, because if you can get 15% or more bare minimum, then that's really a good deal. Otherwise, I might as well be investing elsewhere. So this is a rough idea on what you should be also doing. Depending on where you're investing, these numbers will fluctuate, but the rules are still the same. If I was investing in London, this is my strategy. Maybe Alberta, I'd change it up a little bit because I might not get the appreciation there, but I do know I'd make more cash flow per unit. And so my cash on cash would also be very good. To sum it up, my friends, if you're getting 3% cash on cash return and only $100 for that house, I wouldn't buy it unless I'm house hacking or there's a way to increase my cash flow by another couple of $100. Again, if you wanna look at any more complicated metrics like that, just hit me up, ask me. I'm always willing to answer anyone's questions.